Hey, this is Brian Hegney, Assistant Professor of Game Design at High Point University. I see a lot of students try to make GitHub repositories using Unreal Engine and using GitHub Desktop. I see a lot of mistakes, and a lot of times the repositories don't quite work, and I want to go over the best way of doing that. So these are the steps we're going to do. They might seem a little unintuitive, and most people who do it this way don't, well, most people don't do it this way, but I have found every student who did it this way did not screw up their repository. So we're going to create our Unreal project first, and then we're going to close it. We're going to delete folders that don't matter, and then we're going to open up GitHub Desktop and use GitHub Desktop to add a local repository. Yes, we're gonna then create it as well. That's not one of the steps, but then we're gonna use the Unreal Engine ignore template when we do that. So the first thing we're gonna do is go into Unreal. Second thing we're gonna do is go into GitHub Desktop to create that repository from there. So let's go ahead and open Unreal Engine. I am going to actually open up the Epic Games Launcher. You can do it any way you want. If you want to go in and open up the folder right away, the Unreal Engine thing right away, you can. Just go ahead and launch any of the versions of the engine you want. And I guess I'll create a new game, a new first-person template. Um, Unreal Projects is fine. I'm going to call it, yeah, my project for GitHub. You know what? My project, and then I'm gonna say call it delete me because I want to remember that I can delete this. Great, here's my first person project. I am not gonna do anything except close it. Wait, before I close it, before I close it, I'm gonna figure out where this is because I think I forgot where it is. How do I do that? I typically just, oh, you know what? I'm gonna find a map and I'm going to right click that asset in the content folder and I'm going to say show in Explorer just so I know where that is. Yes, there it is. D drive, D documents, Unreal projects, my project, delete me. I wanted to open up that folder. Now I can close you. I wanted to open up that folder because I wanted to point out 3 folders that I don't need. Let me close that. I do not need derived data cache, intermediate, or saved. I can delete those. In fact, if you were to keep those in there when you created your ignore list, it would not ignore these. It would think that you really needed them. At least in the past, it's done that for me. So this project still works. I do not need saved, derived data cache, and intermediate. They will build those on their own. The only thing you might worry about is if you do take screenshots and things. Well, no, you know what? You don't really need anything in saved for the most part. So I'm going to minimize that, or I'll just keep that open for now. And I will go into GitHub Desktop, where I am going to click File and add a local repository. I am not going to create a new one. I'm going to just say this is that in a class of 20 students, when I used to teach students to make a new repository, half of them failed. And I think the reason why they failed is some of them might have mixed up the repository name. I'm not sure what happened. Again, because sometimes, a class of 20 people, 10 people are going to make a mistake that you've never seen before. So, don't know what they did wrong, but I'll tell you what never went wrong when you added a local repository. Now, if you add the local repository and you go and find that project, delete me, my project, delete me, go ahead and double click in there. You want to either select the project or folder or go into it. I double click the project folder and then I select that folder. Now it's going to tell you this directory does not appear to be a Git repository, and it's not, okay? And remember, I do it this way because the moment you click create a repository, it's going to auto fill in the name of everything, okay? So I think it must have been the project name that would elude students. I don't know. Again, it never went wrong for me did go wrong for students. The only thing we're going to change, I guess if you want to read me, that's fine. You can check that. For the git ignore, if this is an Unreal Engine project, go ahead and click Unreal Engine. It's going to ignore all of the annoying things that happen, that pop up. And, well, there's a couple that always sneak through. It's really annoying. I have no idea why. Looking at you, Floor. Okay, create repository. It's going to take a moment. I'm going to pause it. All right, awesome. It just made the repository. Now I have to publish it, so it pushes it up to, so it pushes it up to GitHub. When you publish it, please, 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 for the love of all that is holy, uncheck that checkbox to keep that code private. I mean, it's not that hard to make it unprivate or public, but so many students give me the repositories that I cannot access because they have a private repo. Okay, don't touch anything, don't change anything. Go ahead and publish that repository, and it's going to be fine. Yeah, and there we have it. It's up on GitHub. I can click the view on GitHub. It will take me to my repository right here. Awesome. And that's it. It's wonderful. It's easy if you do it my way. If you do it any other way, students, there are problems that happen. All right. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye.